Senator Rounds.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mrs. McMahon, I most certainly appreciated the time that you spent with me in my office as well. And a lot of our discussion had to do with the size of the federal government with regard to the amount of regulatory overreach that I personally feel has been involved, not just over the previous administration, but over a series of administrations. As you may have heard, that since 2008, though, more than 25,000 new regulations have been issued for American businesses under the Obama administration. Some estimates find that the economic impact of these new regulations have reached nearly $727 billion and require 460 million new hours of paperwork. That's on top of compliance costs of nearly $2 trillion for all federal regulations, or more than 11% of our GDP. The SBA's Independent Office of Advocacy is, I believe, a truly important voice in standing up for small businesses against these regulations and the burdens that they would impose on small businesses. The Office of Advocacy, it intervenes in the regulatory process when possible, and it really helps to inform other regulators about the impacts on small businesses. And what some of the other members here have already indicated their concern with the capabilities of this particular Office of Advocacy. I'd like to go specifically to what happened in the last year where the Office of Advocacy stepped in on behalf of many small businesses in the United States. In fact, many family farms and ranches that would have been impacted by the EPA's Waters of the U.S., the WOTUS rule that Senator Inhofe and Senator Ernst have both identified earlier. As you may recall from our meeting in the office, the Small Business Administration's Office of Advocacy sent a letter, which I would like to, Mr. Chairman, submit for the record today. They sent this letter on October 1st, 2014 to the EPA's administrator, Gina McCarthy, and Major General John Peabody of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, criticizing the WOTUS rule and its impact on small business. And in fact, they actually recommended that the entire rule be withdrawn. Now, that was apparently ignored. The rule continued forward. I'd like to know that if you are confirmed as the administrator of the SBA, would you be willing to write a similar letter recommending that this rule be withdrawn once again and reminding our new administrator of the EPA of the damage that it has done to small businesses, farmers, and ranchers alike?
Thank you very much, Senator, for that question. I would look very forward to working with you and the other senators that Senator Ernst and others who have brought up especially the issue of WOTUS. In fact, I think it was Senator Ernst when I met with her who told me that if a small business in her state wanted to expand, it would have to get approval from the federal government in order to do that. I clearly think that's overreach, and I'd look forward to working with you and other members of the committee to make sure that we have the right regulations in place and not overburdensome ones.
I'll just, to put it a little bit more directly, would you consider, if necessary, if WOTUS is not withdrawn, would you consider reissuing that letter once again through the office, similar to the way that it was done last time, but this time addressing it to the new director or the new administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency under the new administration?
I'd like to find the most effective way to put teeth in that Office of Advocacy, and if that's one of the ways to do that, I would like to work with you to see if we could make that happen.
So I can take that as an almost yes?
I'm looking forward to working with you on that.
All right. Let me move on. Mrs. McMahon, under the Obama administration, fees were waived for a number of qualifying 7A loans, including the upfront one-time loan guarantee fees and ongoing servicing fees for 7A loans of $150,000 or less for fiscal years 2014, 2015, and 2016. If you are confirmed as the administrator, would you consider looking at the continuation of these waivers?
I would like to make sure that we are making it as easy as possible to get these loans and to help our small businesses. And I would like to take a really strong look at what did we accomplish by that? How long was it in effect? Did we get really feedback from small businesses that this was beneficial? And so when I have those answers, I certainly would want to see what the merits of that are.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.